In today's video, I discuss why intuitive eating is dangerous.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow this stuff.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Before I jump into the video, just a quick reminder as always that I'm now offering the SIBO organic acid stool tests and consult via my website. So if you have any health or digestive problems, then consider taking these tests as they will provide a lot of very detailed information upon which you can start making informed decisions and then start getting your health back on track. And on that bombshell, to the video. So do you remember the first beer that you ever had a sip of? If it was anything like me at 15, it was a quick swig followed by a bitter weird taste and then that feeling of instantly disliking it. I remember distinctly thinking at the time, I have absolutely no idea why the adults around me guzzled the stuff down like it was going out of fashion. And fast forward 10 years and you are like this. Now, I'm sure that many of you had similar experiences with certain foods or beverages where you had that initial dislike and then lo and behold, the thought of an ice cold beer at the end of the day, well, it really hits the spot. Now, the thing that you have to remember is that yours and my taste from that initial sip of the beer didn't change over time. It's just that your brain governs you over a period of time to actually like it. Now, for many of us, we would love to believe that our brains are there as a primeval device to keep us on the straight and narrow and protect us from sabotaging our own health. But let me let you into a little secret. The little swine that is rattling around in your head is only concerned about itself. While I detested that first sip of beer or even that first sip of my mother's coffee, both of these beverages contain chemicals that lit up my brain's reward system like it was fireworks night. Over many weeks, months and years, our brains start the process of trying to mould our perceptions and instincts, and before we know it, you become this man. Now, for many things in your life, your brain has your back, but when foods and drinks are concerned, it can't be trusted. Using your brain to intuitively eat has many fundamental flaws. As I sit here talking to you now, it wasn't just 5 minutes ago that I ate a lovely piece of 90% dark chocolate. At a 250 calorie snack, you would think it would leave me feeling absolutely satisfied, but no chance whatsoever. I could have smashed 5 more of those tasty bars before that sickness feeling would kick in. So would that have happened if I'd eaten 250 calories of my favourite fruits and vegetables? Absolutely not. But where my brain and chocolate is concerned, it's a marriage made in heaven, and it's a marriage that will trick you into becoming fat. Now, as with anything that started with good intentions, intuitive eating has been picked up by social media to push agendas. It has been put up on a pedestal as a healthy and sustainable way of maintaining your waist size. This is all very well, but the vast majority of the social media influencers pushing this new fad lifestyle of intuitive eating have been doing this for so long that they are now walking calorie calculators. They are relying less on their brain's intuitive hunger processes and more on a learned ability to look at a food, total its calories, and then eat it when it ticks their necessary food boxes. This is okay for people like Abby Sharp, who can objectively look at a food because of their training and then make a call. It's a whole different ballpark when people with no real understanding of nutrition try and start their weight loss journeys. Intuition is not about following an ingrained primeval signal, it's a learned and polished skill, and I'll explain why. So when was the last time that you got excited about eating a cucumber? Or what about some cauliflower? Despite being foods that will do your body far more good than a packet of your favourite crisps, your brain does not give a flying monkeys about them. And there are a number of very well established reasons for this. So firstly, although you are incredibly better off now than your ancestors of 500,000 years ago in terms of your lifespan prospects, your ancestors' brains evolved to help protect them. And one of the ways that it did this was to build an incredibly chemically complex reward system. This reward system is what drives our natural instincts to survive, thrive, and reproduce. And this is why food, sex, and social interactions are such a massive part of our lives today. Your ancestors walking around 200,000 years ago would have not survived 2 minutes on cauliflower and cucumber with their combined calorie counts of 25. As a self-protectionist tool and a way to stop them starving, as soon as they tasted foods that were calorie dense and high in fat and sugars, in kicked their reward systems to drive their behaviours to encourage them to crave them more and more. And this is why you're going to crave this so much more than this. If this wasn't enough self-sabotage for you, then your brain also has some other strategies for throwing you under the bus and causing you to pile on those pounds. Because not only does it cause you to crave these calorie-dense foods, it comes along with no off switch. Ever had so much of your favourite meal that you could barely move, but lo and behold, as soon as you hear that dessert come out of the fridge, then you are trying to loosen your jeans to create some additional space. So your brain's perception of being full is not aligned to reality, and it's very taste specific. This means that the greater range of food and flavours that you put on your plate, the more of those foods that you will overeat and throw down your neck. And this is why at the family Christmas Day buffet, you are putting on 15 pounds. So I can quite simply sum this up for you in saying that how full you become has little to do with caloric intake and more to do with the total amount of foods that you will eat. I.e. the most tasty foods that you will crave have less bulk, water, nutrition, and generally less fibre. After all, it's easier for your body in a time of need to smash your favourite plant-based chocolate cake than the equivalent calories coming from a plate of vegetables. It's really quite simple. If you and me allowed our brain's intuition to govern what we crave and eat on a daily basis, then we are eating biscuits, cakes and calorie-rich drinks all day long. Now, as you can detect from my tone, I think that eating intuitively is about as much use as a chocolate teapot. However, I don't think it's about throwing intuitive eating over the coals for no reason. For you to be aware that your brain wants you to walk into a supermarket and buy 15 of your favourite cakes is a powerful thing. Knowing something is power, and having power enables you to control these urges. So if you're going to buy into this intuitive eating hysteria, then you're going to have to be like Abby Sharp in counting calories at a subconscious level and practice the dark art of intuitively eating. Quite simply, you have to become educated in this area. After a period of time of intuitively eating, you will stop using the calorie counter on that app on your phone, and you will begin to learn how different foods govern and shape your hunger levels. You will then have a better idea of when to eat and when to back off from the food. So to be successful at intuitively eating, you need to understand 4 main points. So number 1, you need to understand that intuitive eating is a learned skill and behaviour. Number 2, you will need to track calories over a prolonged period of time so that you can understand the amount of calories that you are consuming. Number 3, only when you have mastered point 2 will you be flying by the seat of your pants and use your weight as a feedback loop. And finally, number 4, only after you have managed to master the other 3 points will you recognise how eating certain foods will affect your hunger signals. And lastly, the most important thing that you need to understand about intuitive eating if you are overweight: eating intuitively is what caused you to be overweight in the first place. In this rat race that we all find ourselves in today, when so many of us are battling obesity, navigating away from a slice of cake with 400 calories, a pint of beer with 500 calories and an 800 calorie burger requires restraint, knowledge, and it's a skill that you need to hone. So that's the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, remember to look after your body because it's the only place you have to live. And I'll see you next time.